Hey, welcome back to the Modern Farming Podcast, where we bring you insights directly from the field about food, agriculture, and the incredible environment we live in. I'm really excited today. You know, FFA is something, Brad, we have a lot of FFA guests on, or at least they seem to be in our network a lot. And I know that's mostly because the Green Gene Foundation is big with schools and everything else. But we are actually blessed today. We have an incredible guest, Emilyn Sharpless. She is she's been teaching ag for over 10 years or 10 years now. She's at the Bok Academy there in Lake Wells, here in Florida. And she was just sharing with us some of the things that they've accomplished and some of the things they're doing. So welcome to the Modern Farming Podcast, Emilyn. And we are so excited to hear your story and really just want to say thank you for doing what you do. 10 years as an ag teacher, Brad and I both being career ag guys, we know the need for it and how incredible that position is for you. So welcome to the show and thank you for all you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So quick, tell us, what's going on at Bok Academy? What are some of the things that you've got the kids doing there?
Yeah, so it's the end of the school year, so we're getting ready to close down our farm on school, and we're getting ready for state convention. We were just named Florida's finest chapter for the second year in a row for Florida FFA, so we'll get to go forward to the national level. So hopefully last year we were a top 10 in the growing leaders category at the national level. So we're hoping that will be a top 10 again in one of the categories, or maybe even model of excellence, which is the top 10 of all of them, is what we're striving for this year. But it's all in the eye of the judge. So we'll see what happens when they release those and we send that up there. We've also been named a premier chapter and a premier program. Within Florida this year, again, I've been at Bok for 6 years. So we've been named a premier program for 6 years in a row.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm very proud of that. Yeah. When I got to Bok, they, how can I say this nicely? Their ag program was not set up like with the standards of Florida FFA. They were learning about space ag. So,
space ag, like farming Mars, or what space ag?
Yeah, like growing plants in space. And
Wow.
so yeah, not really. I don't know about that. So, and I literally gut the program. I came in and I cleaned everything out. And I thankfully with donors and our alumni, which our alumni organization is amazing, and people from the community and parents, I've been able in these 6 years to rebuild my program. We have a $110,000 greenhouse. We have a nice raised bed area. We have animals. We have wooden nice fencing. And so I have a tractor. I get donated a tractor every 3 years. I get a new one, a rotation with a local Grove Equipment here in Polk County.
Wow.
So a lot of community support to help me get this program back to where it needs to be and to be a shining, not only FFA program, but agriculture program through my classes and different things like that. So I have about 185 kids a day. I have very huge classes. And I always have kids that are on a waiting list to get in, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So in 6 years, I'm very proud of what I've been able to accomplish, like with help from the community and my parents and my kids. And the kids are the ones that really drive it, my members, because we couldn't be a premier chapter or a national chapter finalist without them and what they want to do through their program of activities for a year. So I always say it's not me, it's them, because I do it for them and they are the ones that want to see it successful. I mean, I want to see it successful, but they're the ones that really push me to keep going and striving for more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Did you say you had 185 kids?
Yeah. In a day. Yeah.
That you see. Wow.
Yeah. That I see by myself.
Wow.
How many different classes per day do you
I
have?
teach 6 classes.
Incredible.
Yeah. So I do have a planning. They've asked me for years if I wanted to do 7 periods, but I like a planning because there's so much stuff that I have to do plan wise. Like I might have to run and get feed. I might have something I have to do for, FFA, like with a team or a contest. So I really like to have that planning because it gives me time to like decompress and like think about what's due, what needs to be done. But yeah, so I teach, normally I teach 2 6th grade classes. Let me see, 2 6th grade classes. I teach 2 mixed 7th grade classes. And then I teach 1 regular 8th grade class and 1 advanced 8th grade class, which is actually a high school credit class.
Wow, interesting. So you have a school farm, you said earlier.
Yes.
Um, it's always fascinating to hear the different school
Mhm.
farms that all these groups have because it seems to be by chapter by chapter, or should I say school board by school board, what you
Mhm.
can and can't
Can't
do.
have
So yeah. Tell us about the school farm. What does
So
that
we
entail?
have
What do you
our
grow?
new greenhouse, and it's I think it's 2 years old now that we've had it, and so, we grow horticulture plants mainly in there, and we do starter trays in there, and so the horticulture plants are actually kids' SAE projects, supervised agriculture experience projects that they do for the county fair. So all of those and then we do a plant sale as well. So they take care of those, but it's all student driven. Like those plants that are in that greenhouse, the students take care of them. I show them, I teach them, and that's their project. So they have to be responsible. It has automatic water, so they don't have to be out watering every day. But when it's time to fertilize, they need to weed it, they need to repot it. Like that's their responsibility. Like I have all the resources and all the tools. You just have to take care of your project and make sure you get it done and keep track of what you do with it. So I think we had 40 members. Our greenhouse was so full, we just had like a walking trail this year. We had over 40 members do plants at the youth fair and make it to the cell. And then we had a reserve grand champion winner plant and then a tricolor winner. So we did really well in the plants department. We also have animals. I have a lot of kids that show animals as their SAE project. On school, there's school animals. So I have goats and rabbits, and I do a lease program with those. So kids who can't have animals at their home, they might live in an apartment, they can't afford it, they can lease the animal through the show season and they can show it at Central Florida, they can show it at the state fair, the youth fair. And so that's a successful program that I have. And then we have a very nice raised bed area that we completed last year, and then our garden plot that we grow vegetables in.
So yeah, so the garden plot,
Oh,
do the
and we have
kids
chickens.
I'm sorry, say that again?
And we have chickens.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. It wouldn't be a farm without a few chickens running around.
Yeah.
So, the garden beds, what do the kids do with the produce? They take it home,
We
you guys
sell
sell
it.
it?
We sell it. So we do like a tasting day where they can taste what we grow. And then we sell it to staff, to parents, whoever wants to buy it. So we just kind of
Great.
put it out on, I put it
How
out.
big is the in-ground garden? Is it couple hundred square feet or couple thousand?
It's pretty big. I would say, I don't know the exact square footage, but it's pretty, at least 1,000. I mean, it's pretty big. I mean, it's
Yeah.
big. Like and then our garden plot, we have 6 raised beds they're exactly like the ones at Bok Tower. If you've ever been to Bok Tower, they're coated so they don't rust. I want to say they're 18 feet deep and they're 6 foot wide, and I think it's 4 foot long. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah. And then 2 of them have the trellises that we grow the tomatoes up or whatever we're growing that's vining.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
there's 6 of those. So it's a big space as well with we produce a lot of produce.
Yeah.
Wow.
So do the kids have to plan where everything's planted
Yes,
or?
they do. When I say I help. I'm out there, I help, I show them. I teach them in class what needs to be done, but they do it all. Like today we're cleaning, like today when I was able to be at school, we were cleaning out the old soil in the raised beds and putting it on the garden plot. and I'm going to till that in. And we just did a whole bunch, 720 seed starters of sunflowers. And so we're going to plant sunflowers in there before the end of the school. So when they come back, we'll have a sunflower field.
Wow.
Just so something's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the soil and the grow beds will be cleaned out, and then we'll get new soil next year. But they do it all. Like they do the seed trays, they line up the rows, and some raised beds look better than others because certain students are very particular, and some kids are just like, oh, hole, you know. So some look very lined up, and then some are like, but it's okay because it's theirs and they do it.
Sure.
And that has automatic water as well as system. And so they enjoy doing that. And I teach them how to harvest all the produce and prep it and different things like that, you know, if something needs to be cut or anything like that. So it's truly on the student. I'm out there, I help, I do. But if our area looks not good, it's on the students. But they take pride in our area. So it always looks very well maintained and very well kept because they enjoy doing it. So
Sure.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
sure they all enjoy going out in ag.
Oh, yeah.
It's different now than it was 50 years ago for me. But,
yeah. And we also have an aqua tank that we got last year.
Uh-huh.
So they enjoy that as well.
You don't see animals in much ag in middle school, more in the rural areas like where you are. I mean, Lake Wales is an ag county or an ag city, but
yes.
But animals, that's a whole nother challenge. And
oh yeah. And eventually, hopefully, we'll our next plan, because everything has been done in like phases. Like first we had to knock down a building, an old decrepit building that was in my area. And then we had to build the greenhouse. And then we did the raised beds. And then we did it's nice wooden fencing, all this nice wooden fencing with hog paneling. And then we added the animals and we added the chicken coop and we, added the rabbit hutch. Like we've done everything in phases. So the next phase, I really would love to have like 3 to 4 hog pens on campus for students to keep market hogs on campus. But so that's my goal this coming year, hopefully to get done.
You are a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. I had 22 kids do market hogs this past year. They all had to keep them at their house. So, and I would go out, I take students with me and I go one weekend, a Sunday and a Saturday, and I go around and I weigh them all once a month. So,
the lease animals are there all the time.
All the time.
Lease them and their responsibility
through the show season. And then like over the summer and the weekends, like I'll go up and check on them and stuff. So
these animals will get reused. They're not going to butcher. It's not those.
No,
the show heifers
rabbit,
and show goats. And,
there's show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So great. So, I mean, with 185 kids, I suppose it's, I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong, but is it easier to get a lot of this stuff done? I mean, there's some chapters that have like 13 kids.
Yeah. So, some days it is, and some days it's not. Some classes work harder than other classes.
Sure.
But everybody will work. You know what I mean? And some kids like doing other things better. Like some kids like being in the greenhouse with the plants instead of outside with the raised bed. Some people like caring for the rabbits or caring for the animals, feeding and watering them, checking them, trimming, their nails, their hooves and things like that. So I kind of know who likes what. And so I kind of make sure that somebody's doing something that they enjoy. And some days kids aren't feeling it. So they sit on the sidewalk and I'm okay with that. They read a book or do work or something, because not every day somebody's feeling like being outside. It's Florida. It's hot right now. So, but they enjoy it.
So what percentage do you think or you probably know, are kind of ag kids? Because Lake Wales is an ag area, a lot of citrus, a lot of cattle. Now there's a lot of row crops where citrus used to be, but
watermelon.
Are a lot of them already ag kids? They just take
a lot of them. Yes, a lot of them that come in do have agriculture background. Through family, extended family, they've done 4-H, so they know what's going on. So a lot of my students are like that, and then I have kids that don't know anything. You know what I mean? So it's a good mix.
Right.
So
It's always interesting how that works out. Like even in the ag area that you're in, it's always interesting. We talk about this every episode too, that there's some kids that just don't, even though it's like 4 miles from their house, they don't have any clue what the farm's like.
They
So
don't know. Yes, they don't have any
great.
clue. So.
That's great exposure.
And
So tell us more. Okay, so how did you? I mean, you've been an
Mhm.
ag teacher for 10 years. How did you get into it, or how did you fall in love with it after? Were you part of FFA as
I
a
was,
student?
yes.
Okay.
Like I said, my mom showed cattle through 4-H. My family is very involved, with the citrus side and a little bit of the livestock side. My dad, knows nothing, just what he's learned from me growing up. So it was really my mom and my grandfather. And so I was in 4-H, and then when I got middle school, I got an FFA, and I really succeeded. I was very successful at FFA. It's CDE contest, LVE. I was a federation officer for the county. I was a chapter officer, and so I did that through middle school and high school. I never thought I would be an ag teacher. I went to school. I actually have a degree in history with a minor in political science and communications. I wanted to curate a museum. I wanted to be a museum curator. That's what and my middle school agriculture teacher, when I graduated, he was the district person for all CTE, so ag teachers, shop, all that kind of stuff. And he called me the day I graduated and said, "Congratulations, I have an opening in Polk County. Do you want to teach ag?" And I said, well, I just got this degree, so I kind of want to see if anything comes of it and figure it out. And he called me every summer until I finally told him yes.
He caved, huh?
Yeah, so kudos to Mr. Webb, because he obviously saw something that I didn't see in myself, and it truly is where I'm supposed to be. I love teaching agriculture. I mean, it's a part of my family. It's a part of my history.
Sure.
My husband is in agriculture also. He is the department chair at Warner University at the ag department. And he was a state officer. We knew each other through FFA. So it truly is a part of us and our family. And so I love my job, and I tell people I love my job every day. And I honestly do. I wake up every day and I don't not want to go to work.
That's
So
great.
yeah, so I truly do. And I love my school. I have a great school that supports my students, good admin that support my program and my students. And, I've already talked about having great families and parents and alumni. So it truly is a great place to work at my school. And I truly do enjoy being an ag teacher.
We all know you did it for the money.
No.
My wife was a school teacher for 30 years. So
Exactly. No, my mom was a school teacher. She taught elementary school, and I was like, I am never going to teach. Like, she just retired last year, and here I am, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after 10 years, I mean, you're in, you're hooked. So yeah, Mr. Webb, thank you very much.
Yes.
So how many people, so when you went to college, you got, your degree, do you find it challenging even as a teacher to find other teachers at other schools that want to step into this role? Like, to me, it seems like there's are we lacking some of these ag educators here in Florida?
Yeah. So I didn't go to school that had an ag. I went to a private Christian university in Tennessee. So there wasn't ag there at that school. But University of Florida does do a very good job. And at my husband's at Warner University, they also have a thing where you can do an ag teacher as well, become an ag teacher and do that. And I feel like there's more and more coming. Ag teachers are coming, and they're coming up. But I feel like there's such a demand because you have all your everyday standards that you have to teach in school community and your job day to day. And then you have all this other stuff with FFA. You have, your in classroom, you have a land lab, you have students with projects, you have FFA, which has contests and applications and all this stuff. And so I feel like a lot of ag teachers new ones, like I feel like they get burnt out quickly. Because truly the first 3 years that I taught, I thought I was drowning every day. Like I was never going to make it. But, I had older ag teachers telling me, it's okay. Give it 2 years. You'll be fine. It'll be great. You'll figure it out. And so I do think that it's on the rise again. More kids are going into agriculture, but it's just knowing what is entailed when you sign up for this job, because it is so much more than just teaching agriculture or being an FFA advisor.
Yeah.
But
I was going to ask, what was it that was so overwhelming? Was it the fact that you had to kind of learn all the ag, kind of technology, terminology and things like that? Or was it just the fact that there are so many kids and they're so active into the program?
So I do feel like students that come from an ag ed, like they graduate with ag ed, they have an in because they know they went to school for this. With me starting, I'm what we call an out of field agriculture teacher or out of field teacher. Like coming from, like I have my certificate, it's in ag and everything, and I took all the tests, but I'm a non-traditional teacher or whatever they want to call it. And I feel like I knew what was all expected and done, but it was just overwhelming because I didn't have any of that type of like an internship or a job shadowing thing or anything like that. I just went into it, jumped in, feet first and ran. So it is, just all the different things and figuring all that out, like when teams are coming up or when registrations due and getting those emails and just figuring all of that out. You know what I mean? It took me some time, but I had some great mentors within my county that helped me out a lot. And my husband helped me out a lot because he was a former high school and middle school ag teacher too before he started working at Warner. So I did have help, but just figuring it all out and not having that ag ed background, I guess that's what was overwhelming for me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
After 10 years, you'd think that no one would consider you, out of ag kind of teacher. You're most definitely seasoned and have put in the time.
Yeah. So, and I don't think that's just the term they use at the county. So
really great.
I wanted to go back to when you were talking about the awards back at the beginning of the podcast, and you said, this struck me, you said when the judge, there's one person that decides.
No, judges. Sorry.
Okay.
So
I might have missed. I thought I heard singular.
Yeah, no, our application will go so it was judged at the state level by multiple people, and then it'll be judged the same way at the national level. So
gotcha.
They all look at it and decide, if it meets, there's a rubric, if it follows the rubric, if they like the activity that we submit and different things like that.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of challenges with all the rules and food safety, and in my day it was the wild, wild west. You went to ag and you get 20 guys piled on the back of a pickup truck and you drove to a pasture.
Yeah, that's how at my old school, that's how my ag teacher, my high school ag teacher, Mr. Smith, would hook up the trailer and we'd all get in it and go.
Yeah, really, for sure.
Our land lab was
it was allowed.
Walk away from our school. So
wow.
Yeah.
No seat belts, just jump in the trailer or jump in the back of the truck.
It's amazing you survived, Brad.
Yeah, I know. So, I fell out of the truck a couple times. That's what's wrong with
me. Well, I don't have that excuse, but I'll find one. So tell me, what are some of the big things? So the CTEs, right? Is that what they're called?
CDEs, career development events. Yeah.
So outside of that, what else? What other big projects do the kids have, or what else do they do?
So, of course, through FFA, we have the SAEs, the supervised agriculture experiences. So those are the plants, the animals, anything that they have to keep a record book on. It could be an internship, a job placement type thing. Then we have LDEs, which are leadership development events. And those are like all of your speaking, OCC, parliamentary procedures, prepared public speaking, creed. And then we have CDEs, which are all the career development events. So forestry, vegetables, tool ID, citrus, all of those type of contests. So we have all of that stuff going on because we do all of those. And then we're really big with community service at our school. So we do a lot of community service outreach. So one of our biggest things we do is around Christmas time, and those are our wellness baskets, and they're sent home to transitional housing students, students that may be low income, they may be living in a hotel room, they may be living with another family. And so we fill these baskets. My students bring supplies in, and then our FFA chapter will buy what's left, like what's missing. And we fill a huge laundry basket up with everything from toilet paper, new toothbrushes, toothpaste, baby wipes, anything, cleaning supplies, anything that is wellness related like that. Because when sometimes some of those items might not get bought because they're trying to buy food or other items that they need more. So we want to make sure that they are supplied well with those over the holiday season. So that's one of our biggest undertaking. And when we started out 6 years ago, we had 5 baskets is all we needed to make. And this past year we made 32.
Wow.
This year we made 32 baskets filled with all of those items.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So
and so they go out to our students at our school. But if there's another school in need that needs something, we will make a basket for one of the other local schools as well.
Do kids just volunteer to help do that, or is that part of a program that?
So they bring stuff in. I do a contest between my classes. Whoever, like we do a fundraiser. Whichever class brings in the most supplies, they win a pizza party, a donut party, whatever they want. And then through our fundraising efforts that we have and community donations, the FFA takes care of what's missing. And normally it's not a lot. Like I normally have to buy all of the laundry baskets and maybe a few different items that might have not gotten brought in.
Sure. I was just wondering if, how are the kids' reaction to that? Because sometimes, we've done things, my wife's really good at making our kids, do outreach kind of thing, especially when they were young. And, they were always hemming and hawing before we left. But once we do it, they're like, oh, that was so empowering, so grateful.
They enjoy doing it. They love, we line up all the items around my classroom and on the tables, and they love doing that. They love filling all the baskets, and we wrap them with those big bag Christmas wrappers, like you get a big present, and we wrap them, and they enjoy doing it. Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty substantial basket full of stuff.
Yeah. So they absolutely, they love doing it. Then another big event is our Great American Teach-In, which happens all over the United States, but our FFA program just happens to run it at our school. And this is actually what we got top 10 finalist for this activity last year at nationals. So our FFA members, our alumni officers, they tell me different speakers they might want to have, like if they want someone from a cattle ranch, or they know someone, or a job they might want to have someone come and speak. And so we work on getting those contacts, because I'm normally the one who's contacting them because I'm the adult. And we line that up for our whole school. So every class in our school can have the opportunity to have the guest speaker. And this past year, I believe we had 21 guest speakers. And then PE, outdoor leadership, and Hope, which is another PE class, they do it all together with one. It's normally an outside person. So we've had people, this is my 4th year doing it, because we started it when we got out of the COVID-ness. And so it's grown every year. We get a business to sponsor. The kids go out. They ask a business to sponsor a light breakfast for them, for the guest speakers. The kids make them gift bags. They pick what's going to be in the gift bags. They give them a certificate, and the kids run the day. my FFA officers and a few other chapter members, they take their escort, they welcome them, they bring them to my room for breakfast. The kids set up the breakfast. They really, like I said, hands-on. I let them do as much as they can. They stay with them in the class that they're going to, and then they escort them at the end of the day out. So it normally runs for like first and second period. And so we've had everyone from, of course, we've had the local ag stuff. We try to do as much agriculture industry as we can, but we also invite other industries. Like we've had a librarian come, we've had a banker come, because not everybody wants to do agriculture, but we try to do as many agriculture related industries as we can. So like we've had a marine biologist, we've had a marine biologist, we've had the ag deputies with Polk County Sheriff's Office come out. We've had people from the citrus industry, the livestock industry, scouts, that pest and insect scouts that, scout the fields. We've had watermelon farmers. We've had, pretty much anybody that you can think of, we've had come and speak. And sometimes we've had a feed salesman. And a lot of them come back. Most of them come back every year, and we add a few more because they enjoy it. They always tell me, I do a feedback form at the end, and they always tell me, that they enjoy coming, and to make sure that I reach out to them again the next year.
I bet.
Do you have any aides, or are you doing this all by yourself? I mean, do you have any aides, teacher aides?
I don't have any teacher aides. No, I'm a single teacher program. I don't have a para.
So you just got some responsible kids that you can delegate and they get stuff done.
I do. I have very responsible. A lot falls on the officers. Like the day of when we do the Great American Teach-In, because I have to stay in my classroom with my class. So they're responsible for welcoming the guest, getting them to my room, making sure they get the gifts, making sure they, do the introductions, getting them to the classrooms, getting them back into the office to sign out. So they do take a lot of responsibility on.
Yeah. Well, don't sell yourself short there. Great leaders make responsible individuals. So, you're probably doing a little bit. You probably have more influence than you think. It's rare to have 185 really responsible kids. So.
Yeah, and there is that handful. There are a handful of kids that I always can trust and rely on, and I rotate. I try to do my best to rotate kids in and out with the different events, so everybody gets to and enjoy something different, and so. But I do have, a handful that are, the ones that normally one or two of them are always with what we're doing because they know my expectations and what's going on.
So you've been at Bok 6 years, I think.
Yes, I keep telling everybody it's 5.
Right.
But my first year I was there, I was actually split campus with Bok North, and I taught ag there. And then I would come to South in the afternoon because South hired me, but they didn't have a teacher. So they split me, and it was COVID year. So I kind of forget about it. I'm like, Then somebody the other day was like, no, Emilyn, you've been here 6 years. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah.
You have a lot of kids that have gone through your program.
Yeah.
3 years where you now have graduated high school.
Yes, I have my first ever Florida FFA state officer candidate. That was one of my ag students for 3 years. So I'm very proud of him.
So how many kids do you think, I'm sure you stay in touch with some of them. How many kids do you think that came through and knew nothing about ag and now are doing something maybe ag related?
I have some now that started in 6th grade who never, their parents were like, what are we getting ourselves into? And now they're going to shows every weekend, building pens in the back of their yards, buying heifers and all this kinds of crazy stuff.
Trailers and trucks. And
And they're like, it's all because she got in your class in 6th grade and he got in your class in 6th grade. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, that's great. I've seen that too. My daughter's part of FFA, and we've seen some families come in and then suddenly they're like, they've got everything and they're at every show every weekend all season. It's like, wow, they have invested heavily, which is what I think it takes. All these kids, especially at the fairs, how much time these kids put into their animals is mind blowing.
Yes.
And it's really a game changer. So.
I have kids at all different levels. So I have kids that just show at the county fair, or we have a new fair in Polk County called Central Florida Youth and Ag, which is another opportunity. They just do swine and cattle. But then I have a young lady who has a show string of 12 Brahmas, and she shows all across the United States. You know what I mean? So it's different levels. And then I have a girl who does boar goats, and she shows all over Florida and into Georgia. And, so I have kids, there's multiple kids that show all over Florida and do different stuff. And then I have kids who just do the youth fair. And then I have kids who are just in ag and just do the LDEs and the CDEs, and they don't want to have anything to do with animals or anything like that. So it definitely, I have a good mix of students and what they do.
Yeah. Sounds
Very
like
interesting. Yeah.
So outside of the convention, which is coming up next month, right?
Yes.
What happens in the summer?
Oh, in the
Everybody kind of
summer?
go home and get some
No,
rest. And
I don't go home. I have
You have animals.
I have extended contract hours, so I work out a schedule. And so I take care of the animals. I take kids to state convention. We do our chapter officer program in the summer. So I have that. And then I have work days on campus where students come and we remulch the campus and we kind of help beautify it and stuff. So I work, I do take vacations. We go to the beach and we go to North Carolina. So I do take vacations, and I don't go every day over the summer, but I do have to go over the summer to care for the animals and different things like that. And then when I'm on vacation, I have students that come and help feed over the summer for me.
That's great. You have programs available for the kids in the summer, because that's usually in the summer, it's like, what do these kids do? Some of them can hold up in their bedrooms, or the others get in trouble. So it's great that you
all
have
of my students or all of my members. Normally at a work day, the most I'll have is 15. Some days I'll have 5. So we just figure out what we're going to do. I plan them ahead of time and put them on the calendar so parents know if they're in town. They like to know what we're doing. Like, what are we doing today? Are we painting? Are we doing mulch? Or are we inside your classroom doing something? So, but I do have a good turnout that helps with that.
So great. So
you said you had a tractor.
I do.
So you have a big enough garden that you could use a tractor.
I have to use a tiller, on the back of the tractor. Yeah.
So kids kind of, any mechanics? I mean, are they how to grease it?
They cannot drive the tractor. So I do teach tractor safety in my high school ag class, because that's one of the things that they do. But unfortunately, I can't teach tractor driving or anything like that.
No turning wrenches and greasing and no mechanic stuff.
No.
Well, they got to draw a line somewhere, right? I mean, school boards that get exposed.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I just go back to my time, 50 years ago in ag. We pop wheelies and
put the tractor on blocks and get underneath it, huh?
Yeah, trailer backing contest. That was a thing. We had a contest.
Tractor driving. Yes, it's a CBE. Yes. So
the program stays pretty strong, right? I mean, you have a consistent flow of kids coming in and out. There's no real worry about. So I always like to ask this question. You're in ag, you see these young kids coming through it. You've seen them now. Some of them graduate high school. In your opinion, obviously, and where you're at and here in Florida, what do you think the ag space is for young people? And I'll tell you why. The common misconception is, or maybe the common thought is, that it's really challenging for young people to get into agriculture, especially farming, whether it's citrus, kind of struggling through its issues. What is your assessment? What do you think the ag space here in Florida looks like 10 years from now with these kids?
So especially in our area, the kids see the groves being pulled up and they see housing developments coming, and they complain more than the adults about it. But I always tell them that we're always going to have to eat, right? Like, you always are going to need food, clothes, medicine comes from agriculture. You're always going to need those supplies. So I always tell them that there's always going to be some career or job in agriculture that you can go into. It may not be cattle ranching or farming, or it could be, plant science or, food inspector or something like that. So I always try to tell them that there's always going to be a place for you in an agriculture career if that's something that they really want to be in. And I'm honest with them. I said, you're not probably going to go out and be $1 million cattle rancher and have this nice big ranch and, have tons of, I said, it takes a lot. And I tell them, like, it takes a lot of input of money. There's not a lot of outcome of money sometimes. I said, so I just try to be as nice as I can and prepare them,
Yeah,
like, because,
Yeah.
but I was like, we always need vets, food scientists, inspection, there's so many things
Yeah.
that you can do within the agriculture world. And I've taught a lot about sustainability lately, like sustainable agriculture, because in Florida, we're losing place to plant and grow our food. And so, there's always that where we got to figure out how we're going to sustain feeding a growing population with what we have, or little than what we've had 2 years ago.
Right.
So, I just try to be real with them about it, as real as I can, not crush dreams, but it just be, this is how it is. And this is what, your future is going probably to be like, with it kills me every time I go by a grove and get pushed up. But I just
I
try.
was a 40-year grower, so I feel your pain. I'm not
Yeah.
now.
So I just try to be realistic with them and tell them, and I do we're doing ag careers right now. I always end the year with agriculture careers, and they research and they do like a career finder quiz, and they pick their careers. And it's very interesting to see. I used to get a lot of vets, a lot of animal breeders, and a lot of farmers. And this year I was surprisingly shocked. I had a lot of like plant science, food inspectors, marketing, like agriculture marketing, agriculture lawyers, and different things like that. So I do that because I want them to see there's more to the agriculture industry than just farming and ranching, even though farming and ranching is very, very important. But there's more jobs that can be filled out there within the agriculture industry
A lot of related.
that might fit them a little bit better, especially for those who don't like animals or plants or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, the whole ag space is, there's so many more people supporting these farmers than there are actually farmers. And you touched on it. I mean, the technology piece, Brad was talking about the machinery piece. There's so many people that are supporting our farmers that I think when everyone thinks agriculture and you're going to, get a degree or whatnot in agriculture, not everybody graduates and becomes a farmer. 99% of us graduate and become some sort of supporting entity to the growers, whether it's research or technology or sales and marketing, things like that. So it's good to hear that. I always like to hear the fact that, one, you have a ton of kids in your program, which is a testament to the program. Obviously, you're one of the better teachers in the state, one of the better programs in the state. So you guys are doing an amazing job. We wish you all the best at convention.
Thank you.
We'd hope to have you back afterwards, and hopefully we can share your successes with everybody as well.
Yeah.
And it's always refreshing to hear that there are still really active chapters out there. Not that there's some, I think, that are going the other direction, or there's some that are just staying flat.
And
so it's great to see.
It truly is like so the kids feed off of what I put in, right? So if I'm not giving it 100 or 110%, my kids aren't going to give me back 100 or 110%. And you have to have student buy-in. That's the biggest thing. And so if I don't have that, my program would truly not be, like I said, at the level that it's at, because it's truly them that are doing all of these activities, running our land lab, doing our POA. They come up with all these activities and outreaches and things that they want to do, and I just help them implement them. And so it's truly they feed off of what I give. And so, and not every day, like I love my job, and not every day I feel the greatest. Some days I'm sick and they can tell, but they just go and do what needs to be done because they know my expectations, and they know, well, Ms. Sharpless really isn't feeling good today, but we know that she's giving us always the best that she can give us. So we're going to give her the best that we can give her. And so that truly is a testament. And all I ever ask of any kid that comes through my program, I always tell them, I say, give me your best, try your best at whatever you're doing. If it's a CDE, a LDE, working outside, have fun and learn something new in the process. Because that's truly what, and I tell every kid that, give me your best, and you give me your best, I'll give you my best. Try your best, and I'm going to try the best to make sure that you're successful at whatever you want to do. And I always want them to learn something new and just to have fun, because it is fun. Sure. My class is a fun class, so I want them to have fun.
Well, I'm in your area a lot. I want to come visit.
Anytime. We just hosted University of Florida connected me with University of Illinois, and some of their future, I think there's like 10 ag teachers they're graduating this like now, summer, whatever this is, spring.
Yeah.
To go into teaching agriculture. And so they came and toured my program and got to see my students and talk with my students and see my land lab and see all the different kinds of stuff that we do. So we love to have visitors on campus. The kids love it when we have visitors on campus.
We need more of you. You need to become a teach the teacher or something. You need to be the teacher instructor is what.
Yeah, no, I'm not there yet. Trust me, there's still so much that I need to learn. I learn something new every day.
Sure.
I learn something new from my fellow ag teachers. And that's the great thing about the agriculture education world, is that, yes, we're competitive against each other, like when it's contest time, but we're supportive of each other. Like if I need a resource or I need something that I don't have, I know that I can reach out to my friends that are ag teachers, and they'll be there to help me, to give me what I need, to guide me. And so that's truly, it's a great thing. And that's unique with the agriculture education world, is that we all truly support each other and want each other to do the best, and want all of our kids to be successful because they're all a part of the same organization.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Well said. Well said. We're going to leave it there because that was really well put. Yes, Emilyn Sharpless, thank you so much for what you do. Thanks for being on the Modern Farming Podcast. Like I said, we will certainly have either Matt, Rachel, or I, or Brad will stay in touch with you after convention there. We're really eager to see how you place there. Not that it matters. Look, you're doing amazing work. Top 5, top 10, really incredible, really impressive. So congratulations to you and all the kids in the entire program there. So thanks for being part of the Modern Farming Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on again for another episode. Again, if you haven't yet, and if you're still listening to us after, I don't know, Brad, what are we at, like 20 episodes or something?
I think more, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're still listening to us and you haven't gone to the website, please go to the greengenefoundation.org. Click on the podcast button. There's a subscribe there. That's not for us to sell you anything or send you anything. We're just going to let you know when people like Emilyn are on and that the podcast is up so you can go listen or watch. So thanks, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you again soon.
Take care, Emilyn.
All right. Thank you so much.